Hi everyone, I'm Kevin Kearney with Coldwell Banker.
Hi there, Sean Murphy here, New American Funding.
And we partnered together to do this class for you called Right-Sizing Your Living Situation. And before we get started, let me just give you a little background on why this is important and why I chose to partner with Sean to do this class for you. I've been selling real estate for 23 years now, and one of the biggest problems I have is, or my clients have, is that I have a seller who wants to sell their home and move into a new home, but they don't want to take the risks of selling their home and then buying the new home, because what if there's not a new home available when they're trying to sell their house? And so there's lots of different situations. I work with a lot of real estate coaches, and all real estate coaches, and myself included, I'll tell you, the best way to move from one house to the other and make sure you get the highest possible price for the house you're selling and the lowest and best possible price for the house you're buying is to sell first and then buy your new home. Now, that being said, that sounds really great in theory, right? What happens though, in practice though, is that say you're trying to move, you've sold your house. Now the great news is, as a seller, you have all the control, right? And so it's very easy for you to negotiate maybe a 30-day rent back on the sell side, right? So you've got a 30-day escrow. They release all contingencies in 15 days. So day 15, you can start looking to buy the house. And if you've negotiated a 30-day rent back, you've got basically 45 days to find a house. That's risky, right? Because what if that new house isn't there? So this is a way to get around that. And that's why I partner with Sean here, because I've had situations where, and who this works best for, it's not an inexpensive product. But here's, when you put it into perspective, it's actually not that expensive. When you think about your life, your time, and your crazy schedule and your headaches along the way. Mm-hmm. So let me give you an example. So say you're selling your house, you sell your house, you can't find your house. So you take your stuff and you move it into storage. So say it costs you $10,000 to move into storage, right? So $10,000 you've paid. Then you've got to pay to store it until you find a house, which could be a month or it could be 6 months. So you've got a storage fee. And then guess what? When you move it out of storage and move it into the new house, it's not, they don't charge you $5,000 because it's a different move. It's a whole new move. So they charge you another $10,000. So that can be $15,000 on a medium-sized house in order to move. The products we're going to talk about today, some of them have costs, others have less costs, but there's a cost to doing it. But what I want to remind you is that there are costs to doing it the normal way as well. And sometimes, me personally, I would rather pay an extra $10,000 for a bridge loan or some kind of product to help me get from one place to the other than moving myself into storage, moving myself into an Airbnb, and then moving myself again into a new home. Like, I don't want to put myself or my family through that.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm going to turn it over to Sean now, let him talk a little bit more about the products he has and how it helps you get to the other side. So he's going to go through the agenda, and I'm going to talk a little bit about right-sizing.
Yeah, thanks so much, Kevin. It's great to be here and have this opportunity to share some solutions for a common problem. That people feel like, I want to move one way or the other, but I feel stuck. I don't know what to do. Therefore, I'm just going to stay as is. And so what we thought we would do is to come together with some ideas to share with you, to say, might stimulate more thought for you. We're here to help. So we'll want to talk about, in our agenda for today, right-sizing. What does that mean? And here are some different options on how to consider that. Whether we look at a bridge loan, a HELOC, also known as a home equity line of credit, NAF Cash. The company I work for is New American Funding. And we work with an affiliate at New American Funding named NAF Cash LLC. This allows us to be able to do an all-cash purchase. Can you believe that? An all-cash purchase from a lender?
That's crazy.
That's not normal.
Hugely valuable, though.
Yeah. And then finally, we have some portfolio loans, which are different investors that we work with that allow us to underwrite and look at a borrower's situation in a unique way. So. All
right. So first thing we're going to do real quick is talk about right-sizing, right? What does that mean? like I said, 23 years in the business. There's three scenarios that I normally see where people are trying to right-size their home. The first one is a young couple that have just had their second child. They've got a 2-bedroom apartment or condo in the city, and they're bursting at the seams, and they really need to move. And by the way, those types of moves, they move fast. I met a woman once in her 8th month of pregnancy, and we had her in her house by the time she had her kid. So it moves fast. The second thing I see is people who've had kids moved out of their house or early retirement, and they're thinking, okay, I want to move out of state. I want to move closer to my kids and my grandkids. That's the kind of situation there. And then the last thing I see is I see people in their 70s who have made the decision to stay at that point. They're still in their house, and they find they're in a 2-level house with a primary suite upstairs, and they're looking to downsize into a house that's all on one level. Those are the three types of situations that I want you to be thinking about that we could possibly help with.
And it's interesting because I've been doing lending for 22, almost 23 years as well, and to run into this common problem of people saying, I want to do this, but I don't know how to do this, and how can I do this? And so it's exciting to be able to come to the market and be able to talk about, well, yeah, we actually can help solve for that. And so here are some examples and scenarios of how this could play out. As Kevin had mentioned earlier, we talked a little bit about a bridge loan. What is a bridge loan? Well, it's a short-term use of money. You're renting money in order to bridge from your departure home into your new home. The idea here is, in many cases, if you are a senior or of retirement age and you don't have a lot of income per se, that you're saying, well, I've got plenty equity in the home that I've raised my kids in for the last 30 years. I just want to bridge into the new place, move in, sell the old place, and then just pay off the bridge loan, have no mortgage moving forward. Okay, no problem. Some of the things that come into mind, though, that they can be an expensive, proposition. Might have to be paying a couple points on the money you borrow, and then you obviously have carrying costs each month of that loan until it gets paid off. So for the right people, the right situation, that could be a great solution. Now, as we transition to what's a home equity line of credit, a HELOC, some folks look at it and say, well, I've got all this equity in my home. How do I access that equity in order for me to buy the next home? And it's fantastic for me to be able to offer to the community and say, hey, look, what about we have a digital home equity line of credit product that we could potentially get you pre-approved in a matter of an hour of your scenario. And now you've got access of these funds to be able to use as a down payment on the new place.
Now, Sean, I've got a question. I've often heard that, to do a HELOC can take 30 days. It can be pre-approved quickly, but it can take 30 days to put that into place. And A, is that true? And then B, how does that compare to like a bridge loan?
So, it's interesting because different lenders, investors offer a similar product in a different way. Mm-hmm. So what we do is there is a company, Figure, and Figure says we do a digital, and we just do an online review of you as a borrower and your credit and the equity you have in your home, and we'll go ahead and get you that line of credit. You're approved in a matter of, days.
Really?
Days.
Okay.
So that's a way to look at this. It's like, I need a quick turnaround. I need access to funds. How do I do this? Well, a Figure home equity line of credit could be that solution.
Okay, excellent.
Now, there are other home equity line of credit product that might be better, a little bit better priced, but might take longer for them to underwrite it, and
Okay.
that might cause some issues if you're in the process of buying that next house.
So there's a trade-off between timing and cost of the funds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks.
So this is something that says, well, and the other part too, though, is that a lot of those other lenders are saying, well, we want to have the loan on the books, so we're making some money. Figure understands how this works, so they get paid off when the home is sold, and so that's okay.
Okay.
So there is that trade-off that some lenders will, on the other home equity line of credit, might say, you know what, I'm not going to do that one.
Okay.
I'll let someone else take that product or take that position.
And what would the cost difference between the two, like between a bridge loan and a HELOC be?
You could be paying, a point on the money you borrow as far as closing costs if you borrow
For a
through-
bridge loan?
So a bridge loan itself realistically is probably going to cost 2 points on the money you borrow. So if you borrow $1 million, you're talking about 20 grand.
Okay.
Okay. And then you're also paying about 9.99% interest
Okay.
on that money monthly. So $1 million, 9.99 interest only payment. You're probably looking at another 10 grand, 8 to 10 grand
Per month.
per month
Okay.
until you get that loan paid off.
And then what would the HELOC look like?
So the HELOC itself, you're probably going to pay about a point or so on the HELOC, and you're probably in the 8% range.
Okay.
8% or so. So the HELOC, fits the right need. I need access to money and I need it quickly. And here is a company that will allow you to do that.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's something that's a good start. Now, this gets interesting as we start transitioning to.
Now, this is what I find exciting.
Yeah,
And this-
New
this
American
product.
Funding has what's known as a cash product, NAF Cash. You ever see that?
I've never seen that.
That's part of the reason why we
Yeah.
connected is to say, how about that? What do we do and how does that work? Essentially, New American Funding has worked with NAF Cash LLC to say that we'll do an all cash purchase for you as our buyer. The caveat is it's a max purchase price of $2 million, but we can help you buy the home all cash. Now, in doing this type of product, what we're going to want to do is connect ahead of time and get you pre-approved for a takeout loan at the end of this process, and I'll explain more. But if we have a chance to talk to you and know what your ultimate situation is, how much equity are you going to get from the departure property sale? How much are you looking to buy? And is there a takeout loan that's needed to make up the difference? Okay. Now you're in a position to say, well, I know where I want to be and I've gotten pre-approved for this. The great part of this is that I can now sit and wait for the right home. I'm now cash approved. And hey, Kevin, he's out looking for the property that you want, and hey, it's available. Boom, we can jump on that and be able to buy that all cash.
And Sean, all this for the low price of?
Well, as far as how that works, is that what we're looking to do is get you into that new home. And as a result, first off, I'll get to that.
Okay.
But closing in, we can close up into 13 days. So if you've been trying to find a home and it hasn't been a perfect home, but you've been making multiple offers and there might be 3 or 4 offers on there and you have 5, 10% down, 15% down and not getting accepted, it gets frustrating, it gets lethargic. You're like, what am I doing? Do I stop doing this? Well, now I'm going to have a New American Funding has a cash product that says, well, I can close in 13 days and I can leapfrog over other potential buyers. Yeah, let's do that. Okay. So what happens now is that we, as the buyer, we buy the house, you can move into that house. And as such, and leaving the property, you are now able to go ahead and get Kevin the right opportunity to go in and sell it properly. Clear it up, get it all clutter free, make it presentable to get top dollar for that sale. So as a result, once that sale happens, you can actually now take the proceeds from that plus the mortgage, and you're going to buy the home back from NAF Cash LLC as a second transaction. So it's a purchase loan, better rates, and you're going to be able to buy it afterwards with no competition. So as a result, what we're looking at here is to say, when it comes to the costs, we want to go over that with you in more detail, okay? Because you're renting the property from NAF Cash during this transition period. There's a service fee of 2.05% that's on the money that's borrowed. But that's because we're buying the home for you up front, and then you'll buy the home, secondly. So we want to talk about how that affects you, and we can do all the financials to make that pencil out.
Okay. And then what if they need a little extra cash to be able to remodel their house before they?
Well, I mean,
does that work or no?
Sure. I mean, if you get qualified for a bigger loan,
Okay.
right, and you have extra proceeds from the sale,
Okay.
so you just go ahead and do that.
Okay.
That's something that we'd like to, consider as no problem.
Right.
We can work that out.
Okay.
Okay. Now, New American Funding, all cash. That's a great, unique opportunity to share. And then the final thing that we want to talk about is our NAF portfolio.
Yeah.
So these are investors that we work with who say, well, what if you can qualify for the new home that you want to buy as a standalone purchase? When I have this other property, I have this debt,
Right, okay.
principal, interest, taxes, insurance on this other property. And if I add the new principal, interest, taxes, insurance on the new one, I can't qualify for both.
Right.
Right?
No, that's a problem.
That's the problem. So our investor says, well, we'll look at it differently and say, how about this? We're going to discount that departure money to zero, that debt to
Okay.
zero, and you simply qualify on the new money moving
Okay.
forward. Wow, I can do that. So now all of a sudden I could look at $3, $4, $5 million. A higher property, qualify for that home, and be able to buy it, move into it. Again, you can now sell the departure property. And what we do in that purchase and that loan product is to say, okay, what's the ultimate goal here? We can look at recasting a product that allows us to recast and re-amortize the payment once you sell the place,
Okay.
to lower the mortgage payment and lower the loan amount.
Okay.
Or we can look at it as an interest-only loan, which
Okay.
will automatically recast and or amortize the payment if you qualify for that new money.
Okay.
So now you succeed. The only issue we need is that we need 6 payments on that loan before getting paid off.
Okay.
So that's something we can definitely talk about. But it's something that allows you to make that transition from property A to property B.
Okay.
Okay? So moving forward, now why don't you tell us what's going on with the market today?
Yeah, so we're making this video today. This is December 2nd, 2025, just in case somebody's watching this later. But, the market right now it's slowing down for the holidays. But, average sales price is down, median sales price is down, inventory is down, and the month supply of inventory is down. So what that means for you is from a buyer's perspective, that's actually good because it gives you flexibility. A lot of people go away in the wintertime, but there's still properties out there. A matter of fact, I was at a buy sell this morning, and there's a lot of properties that just aren't on market right now. They're still for sale, but they're not on market, and that's why you should work with a great realtor to help you find a place. But the reason that's important is that I forgot where I'm going here, so we'll cut this part out because I don't have any slides in front of me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that part of the market is good. So what I'm saying is it's a good time to buy, and it's especially a good time to buy right now because interest rates are predicted to be going down, right? So right
We
now,
are starting to do that now.
yeah, the Fed chairman, somebody has made it very clear that they want him removed so that he can get somebody else in there who's going to start moving the rates down. That should be very favorable for the loan products. Inventory is lower right now, but there's less buyers out, so it's a good time to buy. The next thing I wanted to talk about is one of the biggest concerns I have, or that my sellers have, is okay, well, the market's down, I don't want to sell right now. I want you to think about this. So say you own $1 million home and it sells at a 10% discount. You got 10% less than you thought it was. That's $100,000, right? Now, bad news for the people trading down, right? So an $800,000 going down 10%, that's only going down $80,000. So on the buy side, if you're going down, it's a little bit less advantageous, but it's still doable because you're buying down, right? Mm-hmm. Now, let's think about those people who are bursting from the seams and they're buying up. They're selling their $1 million house and they're going to buy a $2 million house. So their $1 million house, 10% discount, that's $100,000. But when they go to buy that $2 million house, that's actually a $200,000 discount. And I'll give you an example. I just had some clients who they had a $1.3 million house that they had listed. We got into contract. They were hoping to get multiple offers, beautiful house. We did not get multiple offers because of the market. And the buyer that we got found some things on the inspections and wanted to negotiate $50,000 off the purchase price. Now, that's less than 10%, right? So they were not happy about having to go down that $50,000. So they ended up selling the house for $1,250,000. Now, once they got out of that, we're looking for the new home. Guess what? They were looking in the $2 million range. Guess how much we were able to purchase that new home for? $1.8 million. So they got a $200,000 discount off their purchase home when they got a $50,000 reduction on their departing home. So if you have questions about that, don't hesitate to give me a call. If you have questions about the loan part, don't hesitate to give Sean a call. Our information's on here. And, you know, we're here to help you. We're here to help you get where you're trying to go. My name's Kevin Kearney. I'm with Coldwell Banker, and
I'm Sean Murphy with New American Funding. And as you start to think about New Year's resolutions for 2026, what can we do? How can we do it? What makes the most sense? Feel free to reach out because we're happy to be of service. We're both based in Marin County as far as our local area. I'm, as a lender, can lend in all states in the country. So just, you know, but from the local real estate perspective, Kevin's got it dialed in. Feel free to give us both a call because we're here to help.
all right, have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye now.